Hello my dear friends, you're on the Military Summary channel, and today we will discuss the situation in Ukraine on the 25th of April. A lot of very interesting news, and according to this news I understand that the Russians they declared a railway war on Ukraine. What does it mean? This morning the Russians they attack electricity substations which provide the train traffic in this area, and just only by the noon time Ukrainians they managed to fix the railway, the substation, electricity substation, and they restore the train traffic. So we can say that there was a small collapse in the central west part of Ukraine. First of all, you need to understand that Ukraine is out of fuel, and the cheapest way to transfer equipment and heavy tanks, heavy equipment, heavy artillery system, heavy trucks using the railway stations, the railway road. And Ukraine has 109,000 of trains. I'm talking about the part of train which has engine. And there are 1,600 which uses electricity as a main source of power, and 300 which uses fuel. The Russians had options, or to destroy the bridges on the Dnieper. It's also an option to stop transferring the equipment from one side to another to the battlefield. And new options they shown today, they attacked these electricity substation, and it worked pretty fine. So we saw a collapse of a railroad system in Ukraine for a few hours. So we can say that in the near future we can expect a very big attack on entire Ukraine electricity railway system. You need to understand another thing, that the tracks, you know that there is rails, the trains they're moving on the tracks, and there is a difference between the tracks in Ukraine and Russia, Belarus, and the European tracks. They are different in width. So that means that Russians are able to destroy their Ukrainian electricity railroad system. That means that Europe and West countries they won't be able to, for example, change to supply these trains which uses fuel, not electricity but fuel, because of the differences in tracks. It's a very smart decision, and we're gonna see what's next. But we will continue about the rail war. Another news came today from Ukrainian intelligence. From this morning they announced that the Russians they concentrate a lot of power, a lot of armored power on the north of Kherson. This is Kherson, and they announced here. And Ukrainians they told that they are waiting an attack in direction of Kryvyi Rog. I thought a lot about this operation, if it's really possible, and I understood that of course if Russian could do this, they would attack and they will try to capture Kryvyi Rog, maybe in the future, maybe now they will try to do this. But the main idea, if Russians would attack here in this direction, I think that the main target of Russians in this area is this town, Apostolove. This town. Why is that? I'll explain you. If we take a look at this map in zoom out mode, you see that there is a town Zaporozhye, and this town connected with the entire Ukraine, with the west part of Ukraine, just with the one railroad, this one. And this road is very near from these groups that the Russians prepared for maybe some kind of attack. So that's mean that Russians they just need to take this town, this territory, and they will ruin the support of Zaporozhye and the south of Ukraine using this railroad. So this is also about the railroad wars that Russians declared today in Ukraine. So this is very interesting. Of course, Russia may go to the north and to surround Kryvyi Rih, but for now I don't see the critical mass, the Russian critical mass, to surround the entire city and to be attacked by from the both sides, from this area, from this area. So I think that it's the same topic, the same discussion about the railroad wars, and the only thing they need is to capture this town, and they will cut off the Zaporozhye from the west of Ukraine. Of course, there is a regular road, but as far as you know, as I told you before, Ukrainians they have a very big lack of fuel, so it's not an option. Let's move next. Also, Ukrainian forces and Russian forces, they announced that there is another heavy group located in the south of Ukraine between Orekhov and Novovasilovka, Velika Novovasilovka. And also Ukrainian forces, they're saying that this is the same group and that are planning to attack Zaporozhye. So according to the Ukrainian official sources, they're saying that Russians are planning to attack this town Zaporozhye from the west, from this heavy armored group, and from the east with this heavy armored group. But I think that this is the same situation about the railroads. So Russians, they, as far as I see, and it's very important, as far as I see, Russians, they understand the real problem of West support. We discussed about support yesterday. Of course, I told you a lot about this on this topic, and I told that we could say that this support is single usage, but even single usage can be enough to break the war. So that's why Russians, they understand the importance of railroad control. So I think that in this direction, if it's true, and I think it's true, Russians are planning to attack town Pokrovsk and town in this area. This will allow them to cut these. This will the capturing of these areas, of these territories, will allow Russia to cut the east part of Ukraine, the Donbas cauldron boiler, as we were talking about in the previous video, with the support from the west. Another evidence about the railroad war in Ukraine that Russians announced today is the information that we got from the Izum area. This is it. You see this small thing that Russians are moving very in the south direction, and this information is confirmed from both sides, from both they achieve a lot of success in movement to the south. And their main idea, as far as I understand and as far as I see from this map, is also to attack in direction of the south. They decided not to attack Barvinkovo, like in front. They decided to move a little bit to the east. It's much more easy to attack. Of course, if they want to, for example, to cross this place or to establish some fortified area, of course, it's better to take Barvinkovo, because then they will be able to establish their fortified area there. But it's the purpose of taking this town under control. But if their main idea to cut the supply, they just need to attack from the north to the south in the most unprotected place, and this is it. This is the most unprotected place. And let's take a look. Let's mark this on the map. So let's say they I'm not talking that they're gonna do this, but we can say that it might be their plan. And let's take a look at the map. This is the only one railroad which leads from the rest of Ukraine to the Donbas cauldron area. So this is the only one arteria. There is no other way to supply and support the Donbas cauldron area with the weapon equipment. Of course, I repeat myself, Ukrainians, they still can use for example vehicles and so on, but as I told you before, they had lack of fuel. So this is the plan as far as I see, and most of the Russian experts, they confirm my words. Russia declared this railway road on Ukraine, and now let's take a look. For example, the plan is like as follows. So they're taking this part, this railroad, also cutting off the Zaporozhye. So Zaporozhye, for now, they don't have any other supply from the west. The only one way to supply this part of Ukraine using the Dnipro. And Dnipro, of course, we see that it's very far from the Russians. So to attack Dnipro, for now, it's not an option. of course they can blow up the bridges, but it's also not very good for many reasons. For infrastructure, people are living here, it can cause a lot of problems to civilians, because without bridges there is no way how to live in these towns. And no matter the war, Russians, they're still trying to avoid the losses and problems among civilians. And if they're cutting this railroad, the only one way to support this part is through the Dnipro. And now we are moving to the south, to this area. As far as you can see, if Russians are moving to this part and they are able to take these towns, Pokrovsky and Prosyana, that means that they're cutting the railroad that leads from Dnipro to the south of Ukraine. So that's mean with this solution, with these actions, they're cutting the south from entire support. But Ukrainians, they still have support from Dnipro in direction of this north of Ukraine. And this is operation from Izum area to the south, to the railroad that connects Slaviansk and Barvenko. It cuts almost the last connection, railway connection between Donbas cauldron and the the rest part of Ukraine. Next, now let's move about the updates regarding the map. There are a lot of updates. First of all, the Liman area. Let's discuss the Rubizhnoye today. This map is not updated as far as you can see, right? So it was announced a few days ago that Rubizhnoye was taken by the Russians, and this map also is not updated. But today there was a video, like mayor, not like the governor of the president of Lugansk People's Republic. He came here to the city. He was here, and it was the video and a lot in the open source. You can find this video on the internet. So he was here. So, and we can say that, of course, if there was like heavy clashes in this area, I'm not sure that the president of this People's Republic would go there. So we can say that somehow this video and this his action proved that the Rubizhnoye is under Russians, and Russians, they already marked that Rubizhnoye is under their control. And I think that in a few we can expect that this map will be updated. Another important news are coming from the south, from the Popasna and Novotashkenkovsky area. So Popasna, Zolotoy, Novotashkovsk. Russians, they during this weekend they attacked the Novotashkovsk and they took this town, and it's also Ukrainian forces, the Ukrainian authority, they say the same, that they had to leave this town. And the news that was like follow: Ukrainians, they left this town to in direction of Orekhova, and from this area they attacked this town with the Ukrainian tanks. So Russians, they're moving in direction from the west to the east in direction of Orekhova, Zolotoye, in direction of this fortified area. Now let's move to Liman. Both maps were updated regarding Liman. So we see that Liman is almost we can say that the distance between Liman and the territory that under Russian control is 7 kilometers. One important thing is regarding Zarechne. I told before that Russians already took Tarske, but this bridge was blown up. I told you about this, but I thought that Russians stayed on that side. But this map shows that Russians managed to capture at least a small part near the bridge in the town Zarechne. And also Russian sources, they are saying that there are clashes near the town Yampil. This one. So from this area they're attacking with the broad front line. So they're fighting in Yampil. They are moving in direction of Liman, and also in this area Russians told that they took this town Yatskivka, and so that's why we can say that they're also moving in this direction. And it's also part of railroad war. You see that this railway station is very important for Russians, because as soon as they take this railway station, a railway center, it will allow Russians to throw here as much forces as possible in the direction of Liman. So you see this railroad, and this rail moves to the Russian Federation, so it will be like an endless traffic of Russian weapon right in front of the heart of Donbas border. A lot of interesting news are coming from Izum, where I told you that Russians, they managed to break through the defense in Ukrainians' lines in this area, and they're moving very fast in direction of this railroad with just one purpose: to cut this road. So you see that there is like few options. Russians try to save them, like they try to find few solutions, and one of the solution is to cut these roads. But we need to understand that to cut these roads in hard way, like I'm showing you this, like to move to the south with forces, there would be losses, of course, in vehicles and in manpower. And the same here. Imagine yourself to pass around 40 kilometers in direction of north-west. It would be losses in vehicles, manpower. But this is the only one way how Russians can cut the Ukraine, this part of Ukraine, from the West support. And the same here. There was a comment in the military summary community. One of our men, he told that the best solution here to blockade Kryvyi Rih. I wrote in my comment that for now it's not a solution, but I was mistaken as far as I understand. I was mistaken. I did a mistake. Sorry. So now I see that Russian they created some urgent plan regarding these railroad, and now they're trying to solve this issue with the West support. Russians are very aware of this support, so they are moving in this direction. And also this movement will be with losses, maybe with losses in manpower and vehicles. So it's like the second plan. The first plan, and Russian test this plan this morning. They attacked the electricity system of Ukrainian railroad. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel and enjoy your day.